So this video is about how black men can win in the black communities. So, there has been a outcry about some of the educated brothers being requested to come back and give back to the communities, clean the communities up. Now, most educated brothers meet these requests with, why? Why should we? And I totally agree. I'm 100% in agreement in the reasoning there on why you should not go back and clean up those communities. But let me give you the other side. And I'm speaking from someone who's done this. So, with experience comes wisdom. And one thing I've been paying attention to is what exactly is respected in the black community. What is it? What do they respect? Well, one thing they will respect is the law. And what I mean by that is they may have a blunt disrespect about the law, but it's the one thing that can come in and make them move. All right. Now, the holders of the law are usually the Caucasian race. And the other thing that the black community will respect is the use of force. Now, everything else, you're going to have some challenges there. But what you can do is learn from the methods that have worked. Sometimes you got to give the devil his due. And you can learn from it. So, what educated brothers like me need to do is you can slowly start gaining ground and gaining respect through ownership of property. Now, what I did was I took it out on myself to do my homework. And that's how I beat the rest of my competition. What I did was I went to my county courthouse and I took photos of the layout of my city. All the lot lining, all the different barriers, the end lines of the city. And also I did homework on the sewer lines. Now, I'll tell you why that's important as well. But if you can go and get a copy of the engineer's drawings of the sewer layout of your city, and also a copy of the divisions of the lots from your courthouse, and put this up in your room somewhere, like in your man cave somewhere, and this is going to be your operation station base. All right, you're going to use this and you're going to mark all over this thing to slowly gain control. All right, so this is what you do. After you gain these two pieces of information, you start looking on your local state website where they have tax sales, auction for tax sales. You can see what property is up for sale, what property is delinquent, and then what you want to do is start making offers on these properties. You know, you can buy some of these properties for pennies on a dollar. Just make an offer. All right? Slowly start acquiring these properties. And I did a lot of my work in my city alone, but you can do a lot of your work with other educated brothers. It's got to be a brother that doesn't have, is not weak so much to speak in the primitive sense, but the brother's intelligent enough to lower his wanting to fight against you in order to work with you. Okay, and that brother's gonna have to be intelligent. See, the crab in the barrel is due to lack of intelligence. So it might be a couple of you brothers get together and y'all go by that map of your city and you slowly start taking over. All right. It's one thing about ownership. It is attached to the law, which is something that your community will have to respect. They don't have any choice. So if you had to come in and say, hey man, I need y'all to get off my property, you got the backing of the law for it. All right. And you need that because most people know that they won't even question ownership. They won't question it. All right. So what you educated brothers need to be doing is taking your resources and applying them to ownership, which will lead you to not sacrificing yourself but to clean up your community, but cleaning up your community in the context of ownership. All right. So I'm 100% behind not cleaning up the community for nothing. But by applying this strategy, you can go in, pick up these little properties for pennies on a dollar, clean them up, and you now are cleaning up the community, but you also have one of the things that the black community will respect, and that's the use of that's the law. Okay, and behind the law can be the use of force. All right. Now, this is the other thing you brothers need to learn how to do. When you get into this tax delinquent property game, you have to turn into a pure beast. You have to be ruthless. All right? If that property is up for tax delinquents and there is an old lady living in there, or there is somebody's grandmother or sister living in that property or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's fair game. Now, it's a lot of you might not agree with that, but I'm telling you, you have to do it. You have to do it. This is how you gain control to be able to actually clean up the community and maintain it in the manner that it needs to be maintained. You have to have ownership. Buy it. It's fair game. All right? And I feel like we're not applying ourselves and what we're able to do in the right fashion in order to get the respect that you might want. You're not doing it. See? So what I've done, I live in a small little city, but I've basically bought half the city. Half those delinquent properties, they're mine. And I'm developing them. Now, let me go to tell you about why you want to get the sewer diagram of your city. All right. Now, in my city, I bought some property that was near city limits, but it was considered county, and it did not have city sewer. There were the last manhole was probably about 800 feet away from the property I bought, but the property was, excuse me, the property was flat. All right. So this property was capable of being developed and being houses being built on it, but it didn't have sewer, city sewer. So what I did was I hired an engineer, a civil engineer. He came down, he looked at the property, he did the work to find out how much of a sewer pipe we needed to lay, at what angle we need to lay it in order for it to meet the next manhole at the end of the city to be able to access city sewer. Now, if you ever do this, what you've essentially done is you've increased the value of your property probably 2 to 3-fold. Okay? Because now you can sell your property as lots. I had 16 acres. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm developing my own land, building houses at a decent price, but I'm holding the ownership. I'm not selling my lots. I'm holding ownership because I want to be the chooser of who comes into the community. See, you have to separate. This is a hard thing for a lot of people to realize too. Not all black people are intelligent enough to understand the maintenance it takes to run a city. They just don't have it. You can't bring them all in. You got to be selective in who you allow in your city. You know, kind of screen them. Screen these people. You know, it doesn't take long for you to kind of get a kind of a decent understanding of whether or not a person understands maintenance and money and managing money. All right. And what will end up happening here is there's going to be a divide. And the divide amongst the black people will be based on intelligence. I'm sorry. That's what's going to happen here. And because you are now the owner of most of the land there, you have the power to make that decision. And you have to make this decision. It's not a question of should you or you have to bring in your best and brightest people in order to maintain your city. I'm sorry. So you'll have to do a screening on these people. They might not know it, but you're screening them based on how they think. All right? And you're not discriminating either. You know, if there's some other races of people that want to move in that have the intelligence that you're looking for in order to maintain your city, don't discriminate. All right? So, this is what has been done here. This is what I've done. I'm telling you this because I've done it. All right? So, do the homework. You educated brothers out there, this is how you come in and assert yourself in a way that there's no way around you. They can't get around you. Anything that happens in that city has to go through you. And just having that little bit of knowledge more than the average person around there, you'll be in charge. There's a show that I like to watch, and this guy's name is Marcus. He's basically a business investor. He likes to go around and invest in failing businesses and get them back up to running. And the best part of the show for me is when he comes in, the first thing he says to every failing business, the first question he asks is, who's in charge? And these businesses are sometimes two people are the head, or they don't know who's in charge or whatever. And what he does is he clears that up immediately. He comes in and says, okay, if you want me to help your businesses, I'm going to do this here. But from now on, you got to understand I'm in charge. You brothers need to take that attitude. When you're the owner of the property, you're in charge. So take those resources, apply them in a manner that will gain you respect, control, and we need to link up. It's going to be the intelligent of us, the more intelligent of us black men that link up. You know, I don't have a problem working with other black men that think like me. I don't. It's just I don't find many of them. You know? So anyways, I'm about to go do this shift. So peace out.